It's that time of the season. We look back on 24-25. It's been how many days since the season's over, but we're going to react to our predictions, which I think some were closer than others. I haven't actually watched the video back. Neither has Sam. Charlie has, because he put this beautiful video together. We're basically going to be reacting to our 24-25 Watford predictions. My name is Jacob Colshaw. I'm joined by Sam Yuka. I'm joined by Charlie Zazera. Sam, it's been a couple of days since the season's over. What have you been up to already?
Already, well, yesterday, it was ended up being a bit too many at the Mad Squirrel. I think after the game the other day, I think you can still hear it in my voice. To be honest with you, celebrating from the Rookery and the end of the season, and it was my first drink in 2025. So it got to my head pretty quickly. So I was just recovering from the hangover yesterday, to be honest with you, just reveling in Luton Town fans' tears as well. So it's been a nice, relaxing 24 hours.
One of the things I wanted to ask was, what's your hangover cure of choice, Charlie? Because you were feeling a little bit rough yesterday as well, weren't you?
Yeah, certainly. Lucozade is always the go-to. Original Lucosade's great. And you know what? You can't beat a Mackey's, a hungover Mackey's. It's probably my favourite kind of Mackey's.
That is the best Mackey's, because you don't feel guilty for having it. You know, when you have a Mackey's on the motorway, not on the motorway, on a service station, and you pull up, you're like, oh God, the options are, I haven't got a choice. I'm going to have it. And you feel terrible after. But with a hungover Mackey's, it's so required that you don't feel guilty. So the post-match feeling hits the spot. For me, it's always a Lucozade, and then a fry-up in the morning, which is bold, because some people go, that's way too heavy first thing. But hey, it was a good night.
Don't hate it.
From the career ends, Sam mentions 15th birthday party at the Mad Squirrel at the weekend. The full pod is out at the minute, so you can go and listen to that. I think it's over an hour. Really, really good listen. I'm about halfway through at the minute. Loads of different voices. John actually pulled me for a little feature as well, which I was honoured to make. So that was interesting. We were reminiscing about the 15 years that those guys have been covering the podcast, which is amazing. We're on 8 seasons now, I think. 8 years, approaching 8 years. So hopefully we can get to that one day. Anyway, react to the predictions. Charlie, how excited are you for this? Because we always do it every year. It doesn't feel that long since we did it last time, weirdly.
Yeah. I've kind of watched it through so we can do the edit, so we can kind of react and watch it all together today. And interesting, very interesting. Really looking forward to it. Some funny bits, some good shouts, some bad shouts, and we'll see who comes on top at the end.
Should be tasty. Bit of housekeeping before we get into things. Firstly, Men's Health World Cup Saturday. Get it in the diary. Tickets are available in the link in the description below. Of course, our Hertfordshire Mind campaign is ongoing at the minute as well. Well, actually, no, it won't be ongoing. It's the end of the season. So we've ended with 6 goals this month. So we'll donate £6 each. And if everyone fancies joining us, if the people watching live, if you're watching us back, we can reach the £1,000 mark, which would be absolutely amazing, and obviously goes to an amazing cause. Watford have scored 53 goals this season. We conceded 61. So imagine if we did it for every goal.
There was a certain podcast, who I won't name names, he said they were going to donate £1 for every goal conceded. So we'll leave that there. But that would
be so if you want to join us on that, link in the description below. A lot going on over the next couple of weeks, although the season's over. And of course, I think it's, as I said the other day, on our post-match pint, which if you haven't watched, give it a watch. We're about 100 days out from the new season, so there'll be a lot of transfer rumours, a lot of transfer news, new kits, even, Sam, a bit of ownership rumours going around at the minute. What was your thoughts on Anthony Joshua potentially being involved in a investment in Watford Football Club? There was rumours about a year ago, I want to say, he confirmed there's still interest and potentially could be on the cards. What was your thoughts when you saw the news?
Yeah, I was happy, but I'm really trying my hardest not to get my hopes up as well. Too many times, not just in football, but with various other football clubs, of course, who are in a lot more serious situations than us, have been close to takeovers that have then fallen through. I imagine there is truth to it, because he confirmed it yesterday on an interview that did the rounds on Twitter. There'll still be a lot of hoops to go through, and it could still be a while before we see anything happen. what that investment will look like, whether it's a consortium. People are mentioning Saudi Arabia are involved as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting if anything does come of it. A lot of questions as well, but yeah, without doubt, it is going to be a busy summer. Has it ever been a quiet summer for Watford since doing the channel? At least we must be one of the most chaotic clubs, genuinely, in terms of like the off season. It never stops, does it?
Can you remember a quiet summer, Charlie?
No, that's just living in a pot-so world, though, isn't it? Which, hey, at least it's entertaining. At least we'll be busy. But no, it's never a quiet summer, never a dull moment. But we go again.
We go again. So Anthony Joshua has confirmed, the former heavyweight champion from Watford, is considered investing in Watford Football Club, and there is still a chance he might. There is a clip on our socials via Eamon, who reports, he's a Watford fan, reports for Seconds Out Live. He does a lot of boxing interviews, and he, as a Watford fan, he asked him about it, which is a great scoop from Eamon. So huge shout out to him. And lads, just before we get on to the predictions on this Bank Holiday Monday, we had a bit of time to reflect on the post-match pint about the season. Anything else a couple of days on after a hungover Sunday and the start of the Bank Holiday weekend and finishing the Bank Holiday weekend that's changed coming away from the Mad Squirrel, Charlie, about this season? No.
It was actually, I watched back the post-match pint and I thought it was a great video and kind of captured how everyone was feeling, and it was great to grab the guys in from the rookery end and speak to you guys. But yeah, I think we kind of said it's been a positive or a season of improvement, even if it is by 1 point. But we'll take that, and let's hopefully we can improve again next season.
Sam, anything to add?
Yeah, like Charlie said, 1 point improvement. Rome wasn't built in a day. Give it another 20 years, improving 1 point, and listen, we'll be one of the greatest championship teams ever. So just counting down to that day. I think one thing that I've been finding really interesting that I perhaps didn't speak about is that obviously everyone's entitled to their opinions in football, and that's what makes the game so good and so special and whatnot. But it is interesting because I feel like on social media recently, a lot of grumblings about Tom Cleverley have sort of been there with fans saying, you know, is he the wrong man? Should we sack him? People wanting Cleverley out. But then if you're in the ground the other day and you watch the videos back of the reception, what you see in the ground is very, very different to the reaction on social media, I think, towards Tom Cleverley. So, yeah, I just thought that was an interesting point to make. But it's quite clear, I think, that the vast majority of Watford fans are right behind the manager, which shows what a good job he's done.
Absolutely. Watford finished 14th in the Championship 24-25 season. Just looking at some of the stats, 16 wins, 9 draws, 21 defeats. Does make you think, if we had converted some of those defeats into just grubby draws, would the story of this season been a little bit different? You never know. But we finished 14th, and it's time to reflect for the last time, I think, and this will be it about this season, on our 24-25 predictions. I think we've done it about 15 times because the season felt like it ended quite soon. And that might be one of the tweets of the season from one person on this panel, which I'll bring up later on in the video. So, Charlie, let's get underway. 24-25, we did this last summer, about 9 months ago, of course, August time, before the first game of the season. I want us to kick off with who we all thought would be the top goal scorer for Watford. Take it away, Charlie.
It's a really difficult one. I thought this was my hardest one to pick. I'm going to go with Rajovic, but that's not necessarily because I think he'll score a lot of goals. I think it could be a case where we don't score many and the goals are going to be spread out among a few players. So I was torn between the two strikers, and I've gone with Mileta Rajovic.
I think our top goal scorer will be a new loan signing forward that's going to come in before the window shuts.
Look, I'm going to be pretty boring with this one. I think the striker that comes in will be our top goal scorer. If I had to pick someone from the options right now, why not Kwadwo Bar? There we go.
I've changed my mind. I've been flip-flopping all day. I'm going to change to Bio from Rajovic. Bio will score 7 or 8 and finish as our top scorer.
Oh my word, that's a great.
Listen, technically we were all right because, as you both said, it'll be a loan signing. Jacob, you said it'll be someone who comes in, and Vacuum Bio was exactly that. So I think we can all take the win with that.
Sam, you're very lucky because on the end of the video, Jacob says, "Oh, does anyone want to have a last minute thing?" And you go, "Oh, I'm going for Bio." So I thought I'd still drop that in, even though it was a very, very late shout.
Listen, top 10 respect moments in football from you there, Charlie Zazara.
But I will not let you forget. You said Rajovic, who is doing great things in Denmark. I'm hearing.
So this season, Vacuum Bio 10 goals. Second place, Edu Kiyembe with 8. Musa Sissoko with 6. Deli Bashiru with 4. Joint 4th with Bar. And then Andrews Vata Pollock. So Bar was my shout. He only got 4. Bio with 10. 4 of those coming against Sheffield Wednesday away. which is pretty remarkable.
How many games did he actually? Because he scored a couple of braces as well.
Did he?
Like, he must have only scored in about 5 games, Bio. Like those 10 goals.
Yeah, they're all spread out over 10 games. Like it must be 4 or 5.
Do you remember that? Do you remember his scissor kick? Was it against Stoke or Derby?
Derby, yeah.
What a goal!
Is there any surprise? I mean, I have to say, just looking at the sort of ranking, Kiyembe with 8 is a great return for a midfielder this season.
Could have been more.
I know we've done like alternative awards, but for me, I think Kiyembe has been really good this season. I even thought the other day he looked probably one of our most dangerous with that. Like every left foot effort is just hitting the post, which is so annoying. But I think Kiyembe deserves a shout out because I think he's been pretty good. I don't know if he's the man who's going to kind of propel us to the Premier League, but for where we are, I think without him we'd be missing. And I think getting him in a more advanced position has been a good move from Tom.
So the goals that Bio scored against our top goal scorer: Derby, Sheffield Wednesday, Oxford, Plymouth, West Brom, and Cardiff. So 6 games for 10 goals.
Now, our position isn't the highest of standard, is it?
And then Rio's explained there. Bio scored in 6 games, 4 in 1, 3 in 3 weeks, 2 against West Brom, and none since January. Just on a wider point, lads, I know I feel like a broken record saying this, but Sam, bringing in a striker, surely that has got to be one of the first targets for Watford's next season. I mean, surely they're putting the feelers out already about who to bring in.
You'd hope so. I can't remember because there were talks in January. Did Rajovic leave permanently in the end? I actually can't remember.
I don't think so. I think that's
going into next season,
developmental loan.
Developmental loan, like those words from Tom. Because technically, then he's the only contracted striker going into next season, isn't he? Mama, I forgot about Mama as well. Apologies to Mama. 100%. It's going to be vital that we get a striker in. I do have a slight fear, and again, we'll talk about this when the window opens. I'm sure we'll do 5 players Watford should sign, but with things that have happened in the last few years, be it with Jebo, with Courtney Hawes or whatever, I worry that we've potentially burnt some bridges with Premier League clubs with loan players. So it's going to be interesting, but again, a bigger conversation. But I don't think any Watford fan would be particularly surprised if Vacuum Bio comes back and is our starting striker next season again.
Is that an early prediction for next season?
I think potentially.
Next category.
Would you two be surprised if Bio was the striker next season?
No, I wouldn't be at all.
Yeah. Charlie?
Sorry, go on, Charlie.
Surely not.
I mean, it honestly would not surprise me. It really wouldn't. I mean, I just think for his sake, for Watford fans' sake, it's 100 games for Bio for Watford, which is pretty remarkable. I was speaking to someone at the Mad Squirrel about it because Kiyembe's hit 100 games now this season as well. The one man I wanted to mention, probably just slightly disappointing, or very disappointing actually, as Stuart says in the comment section, you can't be anything other than disappointed with Chatford-Dats's goal return and assists. For someone who was one of our star performers for the first half of the season, particularly obviously before his injury, he's come away with 2 goals this season, one of which was the worldie at Millwall on the opening day from a free kick. So 1 goal from open play for Chatford-Datsy in 39 games, which is really disappointing for a player of his quality. Having said that, he got 6 assists in those 39 games. And again, probably should be a lot more. So I think that's probably the one disappointment with Georgie this season is his numbers haven't reflected probably the ability of the player. So we'll see if he's in a Watford shirt this time next season. I very much doubt that. We move on to the next category, Charlie. Are we doing a point scoring system, by the way? Or is this just who gets the most laughs?
We'll see. So Sam's winning at the moment, but what's the next category?
Next category is the head coach situation with Tom Cleverley. How many managers will we have?
Breaks my heart, but I think he's been sold short massively here and thrown under a bus in a way. I'm going to go with 2 head coaches because I think they're going to try and give him the benefit of the doubt for as long as possible, a bit like they did with Valérien Ismaël. But yeah, I'm not going to give away my league prediction finish, but I think they're going to try and leave it as long as possible before they, unfortunately, realise that we're going to have to hopefully have a new manager bounce to hopefully have something to shout about come the end of the season. So I'm going to go with 2.
Tom Cleverley will stay the whole season. The first manager to do so since Javi Gracia during the 2018-2019 season.
I think Tom Cleverley will last until February. We'll go on a bit of a tricky run, and then Alberto Garrido takes over for the rest of the season.
You were pretty bang on, Jacob, though, in terms of it getting to February before they even start thinking about, changing.
That was January, mate.
Was it January?
Yeah, late Jan.
Wow.
Garrido was punchy, wasn't it, though? I mean, that was a hot take. I think he was like Real Madrid B manager, wasn't he?
He's still been there. He celebrated with a Dumbia after he scored. So
I mean, the only thing Charlie's obviously absolutely won that category. I'll tell you what, though, was it February, Sam, where we jumped on that emergency stream when the rumours were coming out about Clevs potentially going?
Yeah, for Pacheta. So yeah, it was either at the end of January or it was in February.
Okay.
So yeah, I think the writing was pretty much on the wall for some time, and seemed there were some complications with getting Pacheta in through the door. Yeah, thankfully Tom Cleverley did last this season, and I'm hoping that it's something we do have something to build on going into next season. I know we'll lose a couple of players, but I genuinely believe that with Tom Cleverley in charge, something could be happening.
Would you put a massive asterisk then next to Charlie's prediction?
No, come on.
Smashed it, Tom.
That technicality has stopped it. No. I mean, why did you think that, Charlie, out of curiosity?
Just blind faith.
Nothing else.
I've said that in the video. I've said to you guys many a time, but just trying to manifest it. And I think Cleverley's performances this season has more than warranted. To be honest, he should have probably got a new contract by now. But yeah, like Sam said about that game in Coventry and all the fans, how they rallied against him and what a special kind of moment that was, even after a defeat. But and like you said earlier in the video, that connection is clear. And Cleves did a really good interview with Andrew French, I think, after the game, and talked about kind of that connection. And that has been like a really important part of his job. And he's definitely done that. So again, can we go into next season with Cleves there? The positive vibes. The players obviously like him. Remember the scenes after the Luton game, all of them celebrating with him, picking him up. It was great to see everyone singing his name and him taking some plaudits on Saturday. So yeah, let's go 2 seasons in a row with Cleves.
Come on, boys. Come on, Cleves. I mean, we did discuss it, didn't we, on the post-match point about whether we think Cleves will be in the dugout come the first game of the season. All the signs from what he said is that he will be there, but this is Watford and this is Gino Pozzo, so we'll have to wait and see. Charlie takes that one. Sam wins the first one. Charlie wins the second one. I still need to get a point on the boards. The next category is the biggest surprise of the season.
We're running it back to last season, the player I predicted in a lot of categories, but I'm going to go with Tom Ince. I think he's played a lot of minutes this pre-season, and I do think he has actually looked really, really sharp as well. Something that I've actually noticed from him is that he seems to be taking quite a lot of shots from outside of the box, so I wonder if we'll see a few Tom Ince bangers this season. I think it would be the full redemption arc, the me and Tom Ince love story on WD18. It's going to go full circle. And come the end of the season, I'll be stood here saying, you all laughed at me. I have to say, you're not laughing.
My biggest surprise for the upcoming season is Quendo Bar is going to play a good role for us this season. I would not be surprised if Rajovic gets sold in this window. I think, like kind of Luke said about he's Clev's not fancy him. He hasn't seen any minutes. I think he's still got a bit of stock, the fact that he scored 11 goals last season. And I think the way Cleverley wants to play with a high press, I don't think that's Rajovic's main attribute. So, look, I think we're going to get another lone striker in, but I think Barr could often play a role in one of the front threes, even as a 10 or as the 9. So it's actually been quite refreshing to see him being given a chance.
I went with Yasser Larouci because a lot of what we talked about, and Ollie, who came on the channel with Charlie, make sure you do check out the video, which is a rundown of Larouci. His strengths are going forward. Now, one thing I'd say about the back three system with a wing back is it does give the license of the wing back to be a little bit less concerned going that way and be a bit more gun-ho going the other way. And I feel like that plays to Larouci's strengths. And I think if we start him at the left wing back, which I'm pretty sure he will, whether that'll be over Ken Sema or not, I think he could be a surprise package as one of our better players this season.
Where do we start? There's a lot to unpack there.
Can I just say, number one, Charlie's won that one. But Sam, what I'll give you is you said Tom Ince, so you saw that City goal away before it even happened.
I know. Listen,
and that was one of the goals of the season. In fairness, apart from that, mate, that was a horrific prediction.
Listen, I've been visited by the football gods. They told me a Tom Ince banger was coming. Listen, he gave us that moment, and he also gave us the his performance, man of the match performance at home against Luton Town. So, look, for me, that's grounds to say that my prediction did come true. And look, ultimately, I think it's a Cleverly problem that Clevs has been holding Tom Ince back because he's a vital player for us.
Charlotte made a great point. The UK Ince love story has gone sour, and so far Charlie is the only man coming out of this group with any credit left. I mean, mine was a genuinely shocking one. About Yasser Larouci, I think that was blind faith once again. Charlie, I mean, your start was great, and then Rajovic, he said, had a big role to play this season.
Oh, no. I think everyone was laughing. I would say Rajovic is getting sold.
Oh, okay.
What I had a nightmare with, because when we recorded this was a couple of days after a stag do that I was on, and I think I called him Kendo Barr, so I got his name wrong, which is an absolute shocker. But yeah, Quadro Barr has been a revelation this season, and like I think we said on the post-match pint, how many games he has won for us, and if he can stay fit next season, I think we've got a great chance to do some good things. But yeah, have a nice summer, Quadro. You deserved it. Get your feet up, lad, and we'll get raring to go.
We made the point at the weekend, but how did he not win Young Player of the Season? Barr.
Probably a minutes thing, isn't it? I mean, fans didn't vote for it. I wonder who actually gets to choose the Young Player of the Season.
Like, I love Dumbia, but realistically, before Sunderland away, he wasn't really involved in the picture, which is second half of the season, which was like February, I want to say, when Loser scored that beauty. But Barr was easily our best young player.
Do you know what's interesting with the influence of Barr that I've thought about is that so Watford, I don't know how many points we came off playoffs in the end, but we were 8 points off the relegation zone. And I'd say without Barr, we could have easily been in a relegation battle. With Barr, we could have easily got top 6. I think that's how influential he's been.
Fair. I just wanted to bring it back onto Ince, Sam. Rio said, don't forget that hat-trick versus MK Dons as well.
Listen, it's, I don't think it's as bad of a call as we made out. It's been pivotal for us at points this season.
Pivotal. Do you know what I actually loved was the confidence in which all of us said it with? I think that happened.
I think, I mean, one of my highlights of the season has been the absolute. Whenever I've been sat next to Charlie at a game this season in the Rookery, the head loss that I've had towards Larouci, and then Charlie's just started laughing next to me.
I mean, we'll do the keep sell alone, Charlie, but I can't see Larouci here next season. Can you?
Not after the resurgence of Caleb Wiley, and the difference between the kind of how mobile both of them are. I remember watching Larouci at Stoke away, and on like 70th minute, he couldn't walk. He was just like, he couldn't move, and I was like, oh my God. He hasn't been horrible, Larouci. I thought he had quite a better start. He's had quite a few goal involvements, but I think Wiley looks a real player. So if we can get him for next season, that'd be brilliant. So you two can take the L's on that one.
I'm still yet to get a W. Jimbo James 2004 said, they said at the stadium when they announced the awards that Tom and the academy coaches picked it, which is an interesting one as well. It does really remind me of when, like, Dumbia's been great since he's come in, But do you remember when Hassan Kamara came in January and got Player of the Season?
Well, we were in the absolute pits, though. Like, genuinely. No one. I mean, maybe Emmanuel Dennis deserved it that season, but other than that,
Dennis that season. So
yeah. Well, I think it was more because as well, like Kamara was the only player who'd like come over and clap the fans at full time, so people were like, "Yeah, who cares? Give it to him." Genuinely, that's genuinely where we were at. No one like horrible season that one.
And we still had more points than probably Leicester, Southampton, and do you know what I mean?
Oh, God.
Wow.
So we've done top goal scorer, head coach situation. Biggest surprise, Charlie's taking the lead. Signing of the season is the next category.
Yeah, Rocco Vata for me. Slim pickings. I don't think that there isn't many players so far who have come in, if any, who we think will necessarily come in and have a huge impact. I don't think Vata will start games at the beginning of the season, for example. I've been really, really impressed with what I've seen so far. I think he's a player who he's really brave on the ball. And sometimes I feel like when you have a really inexperienced player like that, it can almost work to your advantage as well, because they quite like to take that risk that potentially more experienced players have learned not to.
Talk to me about Moussa Sissoko.
My concern, right, is we rely on Sissoko at 35. That's my concern. I think it's actually a decent signing if you're like rotating him, as maybe most teams would. But I think Cleverley's probably going to get to a point where he goes, I played with him. I know what he's about. He's a leader. He's probably going to be one of the captains of the season as well in the leadership group. I think he'll end up playing the majority of the games when really at 35, he should probably be playing half, starting half on the bench.
Yeah.
No, I'm Rocco Vata.
I've gone with Rocco Vata as well. Okay.
We'll take that.
Sam, you're bang on about Vata.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I just want to touch on Sissoko firstly, because we'll talk about Vata in a second. A bit of an odd season for Moussa, because I feel like, and Charlie, you said this as well, I think maybe the other day, he started quite well in August from memory. Then his form fell off a cliff up until January or February. Then he came back into the team and started playing further forward, where I wouldn't say he was good, but he was a lot better than he was when he was playing in the centre of the pitch. We relied on him on the ball a bit more. I think he'll most definitely be here this season. Cleverly, like I said in interviews a lot, he really likes him, values his leadership. He's come up with a few big goals this season as well. Obviously, scored on the last day as well. But an interesting one with Sissoko. But you were right, Jacob. He should never have played as much as he actually did in the end.
Do you want to know how many games he played?
I want to say solid, because he was suspended twice. Did he play 40 games or so?
Played 40 games for Watford this season, which is
he's older than Tom, isn't he?
He's older than Tom. And what I will say is fair play to him, because at that point in his career to play that amount of football is so impressive, but he shouldn't have been able to play that much football. We should have had other options which we could rotate. And don't get me wrong, we had injuries, like Duomo probably would have played a bit more had he not had that injury. And I don't know, but he picked up 6 goals in the end, Charlie, for Sissoko.
Are we giving him a bit of a disservice? Is Sissoko not the signing of the season? Has Vata been as good or as crucial, or has he got better narrative around him? I mean, like I said, Sam, since Tom Cleverley's moved him to the right wing, he's been good, and the amount of important goals he scored to win us points, Middlesbrough away, even getting the draw the other day. I just think Vata's a bit more of the sexier option, but do you think Rocco's been a lot better than him?
I think so. In terms of, I think firstly, Sissoko's had, even though he did improve, I think there were still way more bad games than there were good games for him, particularly in that middle block of the season. And we were really struggling in that central midfield area until he came out of the team for a bit. He let us down twice with 2 suspensions as well. I think the first one was against QPR. Something got picked up after the game for an off-the-ball incident. I can't remember which game it was, but Blackburn, yeah. So he got a retrospective red card in that game. And then we know what happened in the Burnley game as well. So I think that's let Sissoko down. More bad games than good games. And in terms of Vata, I think while next season, and maybe the year after as well, if he's still here, we're going to see an even better version of Rocco Vata and him improve. I think it's just another, for the amount of stick we give the Potsos and the recruitment and whatnot. it's another good find, I think, because we expect Chapotatse to leave in the summer and he's going to be the next one along that rank. So the reason why he's signing of the summer for me is because even though we're going to see an improvement next season, I think, and he didn't play as much as he probably would have wanted to, I've seen enough to say that it will be a good signing for us.
No, I think that's fair. And also, the other thing we have to say is we can't judge any of the January transfer windows in that prediction. And when you look at the sort of team that finished the season, Selvik, Abankwah, Wiley, all three came in January. I then looked at the bench. Kevin Caben didn't play at all, having joined in the summer. Only a few games here and there. So, the options are really Sissoko or Vata.
Why can't we throw Selvik?
I was going to say, I actually think Selvik now could be.
Well, in terms of we couldn't have predicted that before the season, but now the signing of the season, what I think, obviously, the signing of the season is the player that had the biggest impact on the team, and it's probably between Abankwah and Selvik for me, for who would be signing the season.
I think it's Selvik, actually, alongside Rocco, because as Charlie had said, Charlie, you said this on a video in December, January time, but we'll see a different and a better version of Watford when we've got a goalkeeper who the defenders trust and who can play with their feet a bit better than Backman. And I think we 100% saw that. I know we didn't get the results as much, but I do think that generally we're closer to Clev's ball than we were in the first half of the season. And I think a big reason for that is because of Selvik in goal.
I agree. Charlie?
Yeah, I think Selvik's been a breath of fresh air, and he seems like he's got really good mentality. And the amount of times I've seen him giving it to his defenders, and rightly so, but he just seems he shows real authority, great presence, and if we've got him starting from next season, I'd be chuffed. So he deserves plaudits. I just feel a bit sorry for him because, like you said, Sam, he hasn't really got the results that his performances. I think he had one mistake at Blackburn, was it a couple of weeks ago?
Portsmouth?
Yes, it was Portsmouth rather than Blackburn. And he played what? He played 20 odd games and made probably one serious mistake, which isn't too bad at all, is it?
And he made loads of great saves. So Eagle, we're a big fan.
I agree. Even in that game against Portsmouth, I'm pretty sure he kept the score down, if I remember correctly. So
he made 9 saves in that one.
Just to read you the signings this season: Selvik, Abankwah, Caben, Ogbonna, Wiley, Larousse, Duomo, Sissoko, Vata, technically Bio, and Dumbia.
By the way, our January window, by the way, we should go reacting to the January window. But Selvik, Abankwah, Wiley, they the three?
Yeah.
All really good signings.
Yeah, I think, do you know what
quality over quantity, isn't it?
Look, absolutely. And I think when you look at the Watford squads, Caben and Ogbonna, Caben, just the amount of injuries, Ogbonna has barely played apart from the start of the season. I think long term, Duomo will be one we look back on and go, really, really good bit of business. Because even towards the back end of the season, when he's got back fit and when he came into the team, you can tell he's a player of real class. And then Vata. So the younger players that have come in have been really good. But I think we'll agree that Selvik's been signing of the season. And if we can keep Abankwah for another year, one more year, James, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I do fear, just last thing on this. What do you make of sort of post-Oxford? I feel like Abankwah's performances really fell off. I think that's what's potentially stopped us from saying that he was the signing of the season, even in January, because he was so good up until that red card. I just worry that I've got a slight fear in me that he knows he's going back to Udinese. I'm not saying he's been unprofessional or anything, but I feel like he's got one eye on going back to Udine, and that's why potentially performances dropped off a bit.
He has mentioned that as well. He has mentioned that he wants to play Serie A, Charlie.
Yeah, I don't think his performance has fallen off, but I thought some of the games, especially that Middlesbrough away, and just the profile of how, and even Luton, I thought he was great as well. We haven't seen a defender of that caliber in terms of speed, strength, ball carrying, and I just think he's got the highest ceiling out of all of them, to be honest. So I don't think his performance fell off, but he has made mistakes. He's been caught on the ball a couple of times, but again, he's 20 playing in the Championship for the first time. And I think the club are looking, and can he be guaranteed game time straight away than Udinese? I don't know, but we can guarantee him a season in the Championship, and him alongside Pollock or Caben, who, whenever Caben's played, looks really promising as well, and he's another young player. So, yeah, I really, really like James Abankwah. Jimmy.
I agree. 21 years of age, Abankwah as well. I think if I was him, obviously the sexier option is going back to Udinese and playing every week, even though we've got some real sights in Watford. I think that for his development, another season in the Championship, hopefully under Tom Cleverley, would be the best move, but maybe I'm a little bit biased. Anyway, move on. We're halfway through. Hot take of the season. This one should be interesting. I've completely forgot what we said.
I don't think we're going to be in danger of relegation at all this season. I actually think we're going to spend some time in the top 6 at one point. I think we'll have, like we do most seasons, a better start than finish. Might have a tiny little flirt with the playoffs in about October, November time. But I think we're going to have another season chilling out in the top half of the bottom of the table.
I think there's going to be a new Watford captain come the end of the season, and I'm going to go with Matty Pollock to become the Watford captain by the end of the season, or at least have a period in the season where he wears the captain's armband.
My hot take for Watford for 2024-25 is that we will see Keenan Davis playing for Watford this season.
Oh my word, Jakey. I mean, Charlie absolutely nailed that again, but Jacob, oh my word, your predictions so far. Wow. This is a generational stinker.
If I speak big trouble.
He's sorting the thumbnail out for next year's as well.
I mean, that is an absolute stinker. Absolute stinker. Charlie, I have to say, mate, that is an unbelievably good prediction from you.
Yeah, it was when I was listening back, I was like, yeah, pleased with that one. I think I was celebrating it after the first day of the season when we were sixth or something. But yeah, I mentioned about us having a good start and falling off, which happened as well. So yeah, I'm chuffed.
Who's calling my taxi? I mean, yeah, no, not good. Not good. Stuart said, I reckon you should roll the Keenan Davis call over to 25-26.
Yeah, do the Yugo double down.
I mean, Sam, to be fair, your Pollock prediction, I mean, a lot of people were calling for him to be captain. I know it didn't happen, but he was captain for a couple of games this season.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It could have been a lot worse. Definitely a big part of the leadership group at Watford now with his performances, and you can see his leadership on the pitch as well. So I don't mind it. I do think though, and I said this on the post-match pint the other day, if Dan Backman does move on as club captain, and we don't know if Sissoko will still be here, but it would not shock me if Imran Louza is made the club captain before Pollock, just as part of a new contract. So yeah, an interesting one that I'm sure we'll see going into the summer.
There are a few rumours flying around, Charlie, from the comment section. Aren't you suspicious that Charlie edited a video from last August? I know AI is getting pretty strong these days.
Yeah. ChatGPT can dish up some great stuff, so who knows?
Charlie, that's superb. I mean, this is a generationally bad performance from me. So see how we get on in the next category, which is who we thought would be Watford's player of the season.
I've gone with Georgi Shakfatadze. Even in pre-season, in the 2-3 games that he's played, I think he's just looked a cut above everyone else in this team.
I really wanted to put Georgie as our top goal scorer. I just haven't seen that much evidence that he's kind of clinical enough. I think sometimes his decision making in the final third isn't the best, but I think he's probably our best player by a mile. I think he's exciting to watch, so I'll be following him all around the country. Yeah, I'm backing Georgie to have a really good season for us.
I'm going to go with Georgie as well. I think it's a 3 out of 3. Shakfatadze to win the player of the season. Right now, I mean, with Georgie, Charlie, firstly, again, a fantastic take about the numbers, which have been clearly backed up. And at one point, let's all be honest, it was probably Shakfatadze to be player of the season. If you had said it halfway through and you called it January, it was between Georgie and Pollock. Georgie fizzled out a little bit back end of the season. Obviously, got injured as well. Finished third in the in the order as well. And is it probably the numbers that have let him down there? If his numbers were high, he probably would have got it.
Yeah, I don't think we should proper demean his season because there's talks. I remember we did a video saying why he's a championship cheat code, and every other opposition fan saying how good Watford's number 8 is, and the club doing that really good graphic and stuff like that. So, yeah, he has had a really good season. He has been not as clinical like we'd hoped, but I think it's fair shouts from us. And yeah, we can all take. Jacob, you could take your first win there.
You can't accept one when you lads have got one as well. I mean, terrible from me. This is so bad. We move on to the young player of the season. So Georgie, we thought would be the player of the season. It went to Imran Loser in the end. I don't think anyone could have predicted that. If that gets mentioned in this prediction, Imran Loser's redemption arc, then I'll be amazed. But it's the young player of the season this time, which went to Dumbia. But who did we think would get it?
Okay, I'm hoping that I've got it in the right time because I messed up.
And I'm going for Matty Pollock. I think he's going to be our best defender this season.
I'm going to go with James Claridge. I think there is a good chance they'll break in. I think particularly because I think we are going to rotate this season, particularly if we play a back three. I think we are going to see some of James Claridge. It's just going to be about for him taking his opportunities when it comes. And I think because he is one of our own, he'll become an instant fan favourite as well.
I'll go Andrews, young player of the season.
I was going to say Andrews, to be fair, but I did go for him last year, so I thought I'd mix it up a bit.
Sam.
I haven't heard that name since I did that video.
It's sensational. I mean, it's the confidence. It's the confidence. It's the confidence to send with. I mean, with Matty, by the way, he started the season at age 22. So there was a shout for him to be the young player of the season, because surely it should be 23 and under.
Yeah, I've been robbed of an absolute all-time
generation. And you did say he'd be Watford's best defender this season, which he has been. I mean, no wonder you were so keen to this video. Literally, we were barely finished the post-match pint, and Charlie said we should do this.
Yeah, buzzing this morning. No, again, I've said it last time about Matty, and I voted for him for player of the season just because of his consistency. I think he's been wicked. So,
Sam, talk to me about James Claridge.
How's he got at St Albans this season?
Is that where he is? I actually have got no idea where he's gone already.
I think he's been on loan at St Albans.
Yeah. Well, he played a couple of games in pre-season. I can't remember which games it was, but all came out just thinking, yeah, this guy looks all right, to be fair. And we were a bit short of centre backs at one point, so I thought, yeah, I might as well just stick him in there as well. So yeah, listen, it's one to watch for the future, maybe one to watch.
Oh God, that's amazing.
I think I might have stopped this video a bit early.
Really big. He's got a really big opportunity this season. I think he's down to be the main right back as it stands. He played against Brentford. We're playing in a system that is suited to his game, where he should get a lot of opportunity, kind of advancing down that right side. I think he's going to have a lot of opportunity for assists and goals. It's just up to him to take it now.
Someone I've been really impressed with this pre-season is Jeremy Ngakia, who has also played off the left, actually, and has actually done really, really well there. If he can stay fit, fingers crossed, it should provide Andrews with some more proper competition this season, which will only help everyone, I think.
Yeah, I think Ryan's a good shout, but how do you reflect on that, Jacob, and Ryan's season?
Yeah, I think he'd probably be a little bit disappointed he didn't play more consistently. I think Ngakia's stepped up this season. I think the main thing with Ngakia is he's played a lot more football and he's managed his injuries better. Because the biggest thing with Ngakia, we all knew he was a good defender, but he just wasn't playing enough since probably the Ivic days where he played the full season. He was always in and out of the team. And I remember when he got that new contract, was it last summer, I want to say? And there was a lot of like, why are we giving this guy a contract, etc. And I think you can see why in terms of his ability. I think Ryan will be disappointed. Maybe the season hasn't. Well, last season he obviously broke through. The season before he broke through, but had a full season last year. Played a lot of football for us. This season he's been more of a squad player, and it'll be interesting to see what happens this summer because obviously he's on a 5-year contract. So he's probably got 3 years left now, and I think he'll be wanting to play more football. If I'm honest, I'm reading between the lines. So whether he will be at Watford next season? I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure because I think, especially having been involved in the England under-20 setup, he knows he needs to be playing a lot more than he is at the minute. And so, yeah, and just to jump in there, Charlie, I didn't realise João Ferreira will be returning to the technically to the Watford squad next season.
You won't technically. Like Phil for Ryan a bit. We spoke about. We know his best position is probably a wing back. I don't go along the narrative that he's not good enough for the level. I think he's got some really great attributes, whether it's his ball striking, his strength and his speed. I think his season has kind of been reflected by the change of shape when Clev's moved to a back four.
Yeah.
And Ngakia has stepped up, been really, really good defensively. But I remember speaking to Sam on Saturday and I was like, I'd bring Ryan on here because Ngakia doesn't have the same offensive skills and ability. And he's actually better than I thought going forward in Ngakia. But I think Ryan, there's definitely still a player in there. And the same with Tom Dele-Bashiru. We both spoke about those two boys in really high regard on previous videos. So just the fact that they've not having their best moment doesn't mean they're not good players in my eyes.
Yeah, interesting one, Sam, isn't it, with Andrews? I think for me, he's a wing back. That is his position. And if we're not playing a back three, then Ngakia, if we play a back four, Ngakia starts for me as an out and out right back. If we're playing a back five, Andrews should always start as our right wing back. And that's probably what's meant that his game time towards the back end of the season was a bit limited. How do you see it panning out this summer, Sam? We'll do the keeps all alone, as I mentioned before, but do you see Ngakia remaining as our first choice?
Yeah, I think, like you say, it's that there's sort of times and places for both of those players. They both suit certain systems, and not just systems, but game situations as well. I feel like I'm going to nickname him here Rookery Ryan, because I feel like whenever we're shooting towards the Rookery in the second half and we're almost trying to turn the screw a bit and break down the opposition, I feel like he's definitely a better option than Ngakia. And as Charlie said the other day against Sheffield Wednesday, I'd have probably brought Ryan on a little bit sooner, even at half time for that second half. I wouldn't write him off at all. I know some Watford fans have been really frustrated, but with young players, and I think with a relatively young Watford team at the moment, we're going to have to accept that performances and individual performances will fluctuate. So yeah, without doubt, there's a player there. And I still stand by that alongside Kayembe, Andrews is probably the best ball striker we've got in the team. And I just feel like I think the slight disappointment is at times I'd want him to get into those areas a little bit more, whether that's him or not, him not being played into those positions, but get him in crossing or shooting positions. I think he's one of the best we've got in the squad.
Let us know what you think. He does love a goal in front of the Rookery. Okay, we did the young player of the season. Now it's on to the last two categories before the tweet of the season, which is always an absolute belter. Random prediction of the season.
My random one is that we will beat a team that get promoted and we'll lose to a team that get relegated.
Either Rivich or Bio will be sold in January.
Gianluca Nani will become the full-time sporting director at Udinese and we'll leave Watford and we'll get someone, I don't know, probably Girardi will come back in or Gioretta will come back in or something like that. God.
All miles off. Well,
yours was probably closest though, wasn't it?
We didn't beat Leeds or Burnley, did we? But I'll still have that first half against Burnley where I thought we were really good before going on to lose it.
You mentioned, Charlie, there in terms of us losing to a team who get relegated, which we did because we lost to Luton, we lost to Cardiff as well. I think a big sort of issue that we had this season, our record against the bottom 5 or 6 teams has been really bad, hasn't it? I think I think Luton might have been the only one in the bottom 5 that we've beaten.
Yeah, really. Preston done the double over us. Shocking. That Cardiff game felt like that was off the game after Portsmouth after that huge win. And again, we weren't playing that well, which is like against kind of what we were doing, but it just felt like we ran out of luck really against that Cardiff game. But we were much the better team. They just stunk the place out, scored 1 goal, and yeah, that was a real flattener because that was kind of going into the new year, and there's no way we should have lost to that team because they were honking, to be honest. So
out of interest, other than Luton away, what would you both say was the worst performance of the season? Because for me, I'd go with that Cardiff away game. I know we drew 1-1 with a last-minute equaliser from Bayo after Bar saved us again. I just remember 85 minutes of that game. We were absolutely awful. Like, we were terrible away at Cardiff.
I think the one that stands out for me when you said that, Sam, was QPR away. I thought we were absolutely diabolical that day. And it was the first game of the year, wasn't it? But we were just completely, we just weren't cohesive as a team. The passing was slow. The structure of the team was bad. I thought QPR away was terrible, to be honest.
Luton away, like having a bit of hype going into it. I know me and Jacob went together and it was absolutely a right stinker, and we just never got going at all under the pump. And like I said, we'd lose to teams that go down, and that's what happened.
Hull City away, someone said as well, and Vata got his first goal of the season. We've had a few some good ones as well.
I went from Sydney to Holloway in the space of 48 hours. Sorry, and that was a low point.
I remember my dad saying to check on Sam because that is a normal day. Just on your prediction, Charlie. Obviously, as you said, we were unbeaten against Sunderland, who are fourth. We drew with Coventry at home. We beat Bristol City. So one of those Sunderland and Bristol City, if they go up, then your predictions come through. So
perhaps.
Okay.
No, I wanted a big win against a Burnley or a Leeds, but I think, if things went the right way against Burnley, we could have definitely beaten them towards the end of the season.
Swansea away was pretty bad as well, says Charlotte. Okay, where will Watford finish this season? We finished 14th. Where did we think we would finish?
I predict that this season a tweet will be sent from @SamUko along the lines of, I think that will be it for Tom Cleverley.
So is this still, I don't know if that was part of the random predictions. I think it
might have been.
I mean, did that happen?
I think so. I think at Cov away I tweeted something like, that looked like a goodbye or something like that.
That is a pretty random prediction.
I'm not sure. Surely not. Let's have a look.
I'm sure. I mean, that was Sam Yuko. Sam Yuko. That was one. Actually, no. Sam, can you read it?
That was one of the most emotional endings I've seen at a game. Players, fans, and manager united. I personally think it feels like the end for Cleverley, judging by his expressions, despite the statement earlier. Honestly gutted. Sooner Gino goes, the better. Yeah, I remember tweeting something like that. I just thought it looked like a goodbye. Just everyone sort of stood there, But
taking it all in.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this should be our final play.
Sweet. These players are trying. Cleverly's done his all, but he's been let out by Gino.
I've predicted the Jacob Coleshaw and Georgie Shatfatazzi crossover, where Georgie gets to watch the Jacob Coleshaw video, and we get a live reaction.
Charlie to lose his head and fall out of love with the Chilean Pirlo.
Oh, that's never happened.
Sam to do a post-match reaction with a group of Australian Watford fans when he goes to Australia.
All right, I think I know what's happened here. I think we've done predictions saying what's our WD18 prediction of the season.
Got you. Okay, so our WD18 predictions were those ones. I mean, the tweet was quite accurate.
That's the banker, though.
I can't. That was a poor prediction from me that you'd fall out of love with the Chilean Pirlo.
Yeah, don't know.
Isn't it? That might be the last we see of him, by the way.
Yeah, it'd be heartbreaking. And nice to see him go and a couple of players go down to the bunker. That picture of him and Harry Welch was brilliant. But Sam, you did a video from Australia, didn't you, of some Aussie Horns?
I did. I can't remember if I did it with any other Watford fans. I watched the Luton game with Hornets Down Under, which was a great experience. Obviously not watching the actual game itself, but meeting, I think it was about 20 of us out in Australia in Cheers Bar in Sydney. Like-minded Watford fans. I believe actually the club have now sent them a signed shirt to put up in the bar as well. So obviously you've got like a wall with like loads of different memorabilia, and now they've got a Watford shirt on there, signed one on there with Hornets Down Under on, which is a a really, really nice touch. So yeah, no, it was a good group of people out there, and I'm still confident Jacob one day. I know he looks like he'll be leaving, but I'm hoping we will get the Jacob Coleshaw times Georgie Shapfatadze crossover.
I mean, the thing is, mate, I would say, firstly, I think the moment's gone. Number two, I look at his Instagram feed. There's not one single post about Watford. I really just don't think he cares about Watford anymore.
There was a video of him listening to the song, though, wasn't there?
There was, but it was like it was a Georgian journalist.
Oh, that's why I did it. Yeah, okay.
No, that's what did it. Okay, where will Watford finish this season? This one's always interesting. Were people a bit too optimistic? Were people a bit too negative? Let's see.
I'm going to go with 20th, I think. I think we are going to finish 2 places above the relegation zone.
I'm going to go with 17th. I think we'll have I think we'll start okay, have a good run before the new year. And then there's a period, if I remember correctly, over the new year, lads, where we have like some really difficult fixtures that I think could be quite a bit of a struggle for us. And then we'll manage to pick it up and just make sure we're safe for the new season.
We are going to kick on for last season and hit the heavy heights of 14th.
I'll take that.
Take it, yeah.
My justification was kind of earlier on about my hot take in terms of I'm really backing Clevs to have a good season, and I think people could be talking about him in kind of high regard. We're not going to go up, no chance. But I think we can kind of get some good results, build some team spirit, have a season of ups and downs like we have the last couple of seasons. But the fact the expectations are on the floor or in the basement, I think 14th would be a pretty good season for us.
Take a bow, son.
Unbelievable.
Take a bow, Charlie. This is incredible.
Comfortably won that this year.
What can I say?
Anyone you want to thank?
No, not really.
No.
Yeah, I just thank myself, really. And thank you guys for letting me put my ball knowledge to the test.
I'm not I'm honestly, we're going to have to ask the lottery numbers, Charlie. That's incredible. 14, bang on. You've smashed this whole prediction for this season. I actually thought for next year, if the listeners and the viewers enjoy it, what we'll do is we'll ask you to write your predictions down as you go along with us, and then we'll all, in the live chat, you can compare to what we said as well. I know some people will cheat, but that'll be good fun, I think, for next season. I probably was a bit negative. I did predict the New Year fall off, but I thought it'd probably be a bit more dramatic. Actually, I didn't think we'd expect it as well as we did at the start, which gave us a good grounding. But from New Year, we did fall off a little bit. Sam, you said 2 points, 2 places above the relegation zone.
Yeah, I mean, going into the season, I was really, really worried, and I was pleasantly surprised. Obviously, our amazing start and our home form has done us absolute wonders. So yeah, pleasantly surprised. It's interesting, Jacob, though, as well. After Christmas, you mentioning the difficult run of games that we had in February, but we actually got pretty positive return out of those difficult games, beating Luton, beating Middlesbrough, a point at Sunderland. And I know we lost 4-0 at home to Leeds, but for half an hour, 40 minutes of that game, we were actually very, very good. And I think on the day, I know we got battered, but you can sometimes turn around and just say you got beaten by the better team. So, yeah, fair play, Charlie.
Fair play, Charlie. So that's all of our predictions that we did back in August. Now it's time for the nominee for the best WD18 tweet of the season. Now, lads, who wants to kick us off there? Because there's been some absolute belters. I have to say my activity on Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter, has gone down a little bit recently. I know Sam is, a prolific tweeter. Charlie's a bit in between, and I've gone a little bit off it recently. So mine must be early doors if you found one from me. But let's go with Charlie, on who I know has got it ready to go. Your WD18 tweet of the season.
Look, I couldn't pick just one, but I went through and I thought, Sam Eco, how many times do people think that he tweeted about the job that Tom Cleverley has done this season? Oh, good God. All right, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
So
Is he bookmarked all of them?
He's bookmarked.
And in particular, mentioning the ridiculously good job he's done this season. I've got to say, I know Sam's in PR, but I didn't know that Tom's hired him. But yeah, to be fair, I know we're giving him stick, and there's so many. I think there was 10, and there was even one as late as today, 2 hours ago. But to be fair to Sam, Tom has done a ridiculously good job. So
you've got to be right behind the manager, I think. In this game.
It's a YouTube masterclass.
Listen, I know, particularly like as the season was going and people going, "Oh, is he the right man?" And when Gino starts going, should we sack him? Should we sack him? And I think that mentality seeped its way into the fan base. So I've got no regrets over that, and we go again next year.
I liked every single one.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. I appreciate that. My biggest fan.
Sam, I don't think that can be top, to be fair, because it's multiple. But Sam, give us your tweet of the season.
Well, I was going through Charlie's tweets, and first of all, the love affair he's got with Mick Beale. Mick Beale, is that his name? Who is it for off EastEnders?
Phil Mitchell.
Phil Mitchell, that's it. Why did I say Mick Beale?
He sounds like an EastEnders character, to be fair.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually going. It's a non-Watford one, but in the depths of Christmas Eve at 10:30 at night, I remember just absolutely laughing my arse off at this. So the whole country was getting ready for the Gavin and Stacey finale. 10 o'clock at night the night before, we get Charlie Zazara tweeting, "Why was Bryn such a dick to Gwen?" And I remember just absolutely pissing myself when I saw that. Apologies for the language, of course, but I know it's not Watford related either, but I just remember that sent me. I love it.
That's superb. Because also Charlie takes such pride in his work, and that's just such like a random one.
I know, but I look at Charlie, we're a few drinks down, 10 o'clock at night on Christmas Eve, and you're sat there saying that.
Yeah, bit of a tradition, especially with the build-up for the finale of Gavin and Stacey, which was phenomenal. And I think Sam had some good tweets about that if you go back and look. But yeah, I've had a few drinks there, and I think it's a fair comment. If you watch it back, any Gavin and Stacey fans, Bryn is just out of order to Gwen, and I don't know why. So if anyone does know why, please get in touch.
Oh, superb. I will say a huge shout out to Charlie because he produced the compilation of the season, which was Matty Vidra and Can't Hold Us. Do you remember that? That really got the juices flowing. I have to say, lads, I've gone with another Zazera classic because it had to be done. Sam obviously loves Tom Cleverley more than his wife probably, and I wanted to share a couple of Charlie specials. Watford signing Georgie Chatfidatsy for just £2 million might be the biggest robbery in football history. Extraordinary footballers. Sarcastic, but enjoyed it. This one for the vibes. Superb.
Can't go wrong.
But this one, because I know you're being serious about it, is the pick of the lot. Only 4 points off the playoffs after.
That's in April as well. God.
That's an ironic one. That was off the back of us going off a really, really bad run, and I think we got like a really poor win against Hull at home or something. Yeah. And everyone was going, "Oh no, we're nowhere near the playoffs. We went on a really bad run."
But you were semi-being serious about it.
No, I wasn't. I was taking the mick then. I was going, only 4 points off the playoffs.
I don't want to get into recency bias as well, but a very recent tweet of yours, Charlie, after the Burnley game, you went with we slap, we get sent off after Sissoko's red card. I thought that was a nice touch.
Really nice. So that's that, lads. We've gone through all the categories. I think there was one last season which was the best that will never be topped, and I think it might be from Sam. I forgot which one it was. Oh, mine was terrible.
This one, maybe.
Oh, the Porto one.
I've still got it framed next to my desk. Charlie, for Christmas, I don't want my desk to fall apart here, but Charlie for Christmas gifted me with this, which is still on the side. a printout of me saying an hour before Scotland against Germany at the Euros. Fantastic to see Ryan Porteous given the opportunity to play on the biggest stage. Great opportunity for him to impress against a good side. Will not shock me if he attracts interest this summer if he has a good tournament. Listen, I wasn't wrong. He did move on.
Do you know what? Someone just to bring it back fully background before we close off the stream, because thanks so much to everyone who watched them like midday or lunchtime on this Bank Holiday Monday. Someone listed the players that are coming back from loans and stuff. So Stuart says João Ferreira. Okay, João Ferreira, Backman, who's still here, Rajvic, Porteous, who will all be returning, are players who we could get a decent fee for without impacting on the starting 11. But lads, out of João Ferreira, Rajvic and Porteous, which ones will play next season for Watford?
It sounds like something that should be discussed on a keep, sell, alone. Don't ruin the vibes at the moment with Ryan Porteous and João Ferreira, man.
Oh, no.
Is Nacho Passetto going to be a topic of conversation this summer?
This treats so forget his goal line clearance against Spurs. Lads, that was superb. I really did enjoy it. Stuart as well. That is so kind. Jacob, Sam, Charlie, thanks for a great season from WD18. You've done, as Sam would say, a ridiculously good job. 25-26 season up the audit, top man, Stuart. Really appreciate it, man. I know you've been on all the streams this season. It really does mean a lot. And thanks so much to everyone who watched today, and let us know your predictions and who won. I mean, Charlie did win the predictions, let's be honest. We'll be back for the 25-26 predictions, probably just before, on the eve of the new campaign. Lads, probably the biggest thing to wrap up with is the Men's Health World Cup this Saturday. What do people need to know?
So people need to know they can get tickets online. For a ticket, you need a fan ID, so either register or, if not, come down on the day and there'll be tickets available. £10 for adults, and I think concessions get it cheaper. There's loads going on the day. Food, drink, obviously loads and loads of football. A couple of special guests come in. So I know we've banged the drum loads, but it's going to be an opportunity for loads of Watford fans to get together and raise loads of money for 5 important charities. So we'd love to see as many of you there as possible. If you can't make it, you can donate online. It should be a really, really great day, and we're looking forward to seeing as many of you there as possible.
Absolutely. Tickets, got the auction going on. Tommy Smith and Marvin Saldell are up for auction as well. I have heard rumours that From the Recruit will be putting in a late bid for Tommy Smith. I'm not going to reveal the fee, but I tell you what, that would be huge to see Mike Parkin and Tommy Smith on the same team, set up by DCW. And then obviously we've got the kickoff beer from the Mad Squirrel. Thanks so much to our partners there for getting involved. And that is still available in the Mad Squirrel if you haven't got it.
And it's delicious.
And it's beautiful, isn't it?
Had a couple of those on Saturday.
It's dangerous. Make sure to
drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly, 100%.
Goodness me. Lads, last one of the season. Thanks so much, guys, for everyone who watched. I would do a big goodbye, but we're going to be back this week looking ahead to next season, so it's probably not worth doing that. But thank you so much for watching all of our content in the 24-25 season. It's officially the end of the season for us and for Watford as well. And for all the lovely comments. We had so many regulars in the live chat today on this Bank Holiday Monday, giving their thoughts and giving their predictions. And hopefully you enjoyed it. A bit of a laugh to end the season. Charlie takes the crown, and we'll be back doing it all again next season. Have a great summer, guys. We'll see you on Saturday. If you fancy joining us, it'd be an absolute pleasure for the Men's Health World Cup to win the WD18 Cup trophy. And from myself,
Hang on.
Charlie.
Oh.
This is the longest forever.
Hey. Oh, that is quality.
Those ribbons.
That's what they'll be fighting for, the WD18 Cup trophy.
Beautiful. What a way to wrap up. Take care of yourselves, guys, and hopefully we'll see you on Saturday. Take care and up the audits. You want.